Okay, here I am at Lake Lyndon, on the way to the west coast, going through Arthur's Pass. I've been here on a motorcycle, went down the end there. Today's trip is to walk to the top of that mountain there, or hill, if you want to call it that. So, and it's a fairly short walk, but a fairly difficult one for me. So it's basically up the top of this ridge and then up the top of that ridge, and that's the first peak. And then there's another ridge behind which I might try and explore, but I'm not quite sure. So it's the car and gloves and poles on the roof, and you can see it's a nice day. It's somewhere between -1 and about 1 degree, depending on where I am. So the lake level is up from last time. This was quite a long way back, probably to the edge of the shadow there, you can see. So we've had a bit of rain, and you can also see there's a little bit of frost on the ground in front of me, and we had a small amount of snow. So that's still quite high up there, so it's probably coming into the first week of July, which is again the first of the coldest months of the year. So hopefully it'll be a good day. Okay, so this is the first of my rest stops. So I'm literally halfway up and not halfway down. Excuse the brightness there. It's where the sun's coming over the mountain, and that's the road and the car park, and then goes up the valley. This is Lake Lyndon, and you can see just over there, you might see it in the middle, there's a little bit of white just in the water where it clears up a bit. There's a stream running down in there, and that's the other mountain and Lake Lyndon going all the way down the end there. And you can see there's a little bit of scrub on this side of the hill. So basically my next bit will be up to this spur up there, and I'll have a sit down there, and then with a bit of luck in the third phase I shall be able to get to the top. We'll see how that goes. Icy cold wind at the bottom, but I've taken the gloves off now, and also there was a wind that was cutting through my woolly hat and making my head a little bit cold. So, but if that keeps up, I'll just put my Pro jacket on with the hood, and that should break the wind. So that's really about it, and it's a little bit close up of the different plants. I will see if I can find some names for them. You can see the moss and different types. And there's some further down, there's another range of plants, some native, but we'll see if I can at some stage get some names for them, more common ones. You can see there's a little bit of gorse there as well. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me. There's a little bit of a breeze blowing, so I'm at the next rest area, and you can see down the lake there. So there's a little bit of a plateau here, and I've just got a little space out of the wind. So again, you'll see a lot of this scenery, but just from different angles. If I go over here, you can see where I come up from, and so that was quite an interesting trip, because halfway up there was some permafrost that had melted on the top, so you could see these like vertical icicles under the soil. It was quite interesting, and I had a look at some of the plants and bits and pieces around. So, and there was a really good view down the valley, so I'll see if I can stick a photo in of that. And you can see there's a really good scree slope on the bottom of that valley there, and then there's another one, really big one, coming down there. And then so I'm going up here, and you can see the shadow there, so you can see a little bit of a rock scree slope there. So my intent is to go up the grass line on the right hand side of that. And that's the technical part so far for the day. So I'll be a good, interesting experience, and when I get to the top, I'll let you know how it went. Right, so I'm on the summit of Mount Lyndon, and over there you can see, starting from the bottom of the lake, I'm not sure if you can see the lake in the middle of the picture, the bottom of the lake, I think that's Red Hill, then there's a valley, that's a hiking, there's some huts up there I think for hiking, and you've got Steep Face, and then to the left of that you've got the Mount Hutt range and the Mount Hutt ski field. Through there is Lake Coleridge, and that's the Coleridge Pass just in the V there, and then directly over there is the Porter's Pass ski field. So if you're looking for a Porter's Pass ski field and you're up the top of Mount Lyndon, you've picked the wrong one. And then down in the distance past the end of Mount Hutt is, you might see some shadow. It's the mountain range that goes all the way down South Island, and somewhere in the distance is our tallest peak, Mount Cook. And then straight over this way, this is looking due east, and so the time is, the sun's off to my left, so the time's about 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon. So due east 100 kilometres you'll see some hills, that's Banks Peninsula, and the river going through the middle of the valley. I don't think you'll see it on the iPhone. See if I can zoom in now. Is the Waimak, and the river that goes down this valley over here is the Rakaya, two big braided rivers. As I mentioned before, the Port Hills tallest peak is 990 feet, Mount Herbert. That's an old extinct volcano. To the right of that you've got a lake, Ellesmere, and to the left of it you've got the blue bit on the horizon is the Pacific Ocean. So at the bottom of those hills is where I live, Christchurch City, and as you can see I'll just walk around the hill and get some more footage. Some noisy people up here, so I might have to redub this at various times. 2 more people up here. There's a lot of hikers this time of the year doing all of the walking tracks around the area. There's quite a few, and you just see the road going over the pass and I drove over, and this is the slope. There's a little bit of snow, so not too bad. boots I'm wearing today, my Solera Mountain, I think Mid GTX, I think they're called. Really stiff. You can see it gets deep in places. Really stiff sole. Coming up the scree slope was quite good. I kicked the toes into the scree, and the sole's stiff enough to hold your feet in place. You can stand on rocks and you don't get bruised arches. So, and the waterproof boots, so hopefully they're still waterproof. It says walking through the snow. And I haven't bothered putting my gaiters on. I might on the way down. There's a lot of gorse and stuff. I don't really want to tear up my... So that's the way I came up. That's the way I'll go down. This is the other end of the little valley. And what you've got down there, so you can see the road that goes over to the west coast. And the other side of this peak is the Castle Hill village, and we'll just go over to this, and then I'll begin my way down, and on the way down I'll see if I can shoot some B-roll. So yeah, so you can see the valley. It comes around the bottom of this peak, and then that's the Coleridge Pass goes through, and then Lake Coleridge in the distance. So I believe it goes through there, and then way in the distance you can see the Rakaia River, which comes from the top of the mountain. So the snow line there is the mountain range that runs down the length of the South Island, and all of our relatively tall peaks are there. And then the other side of that mountain range is the west coast of New Zealand, and then across a little body of water, and then you've got Australia a couple of 1,000 kilometres that way, otherwise known as the West Island. And so that's really about it. Hopefully these people have disappeared. So you could walk down to the end of that, look down into the valley, but that's about it.